All right, let's get right to our breaking news of the morning at this hour from downtown Los Angeles. That's where a huge fire has raged through an apartment building under construction.
KTLA's Jennifer Gould is live from the scene with the latest. Jennifer.
A lot of chaos, a lot of people still trying to battle this blaze here. The address we can confirm for you now is 906 West Fremont. This fire started around 1:20 in the morning. Let's show you the video that we have right now, captured from our photographer, Mike Mcgregor. Amazing shots of this 7-story apartment complex that was under construction. We're told the bottom portion was concrete, but then the next 5 stories was all wood frame, just making this like absolute matchstick up in flames. We're told that it burned from top to bottom, is most likely a complete loss, totaling millions of dollars in damage. We had 250 firefighters from 37 different companies, and if I can give you some perspective, there's about 160 companies, fire companies in Los Angeles, so that means 20% of the force was literally battling this blaze. They were trying to contain it, to keep it from spreading, but we're told it did indeed spread to 2 other nearby high-rises. The address is 221 Figueroa and 313 Figueroa. 221, we're told, is a 16-story building. We're told 14 floors were affected by heat, by smoke, and by water. We're told the sprinklers were on several floors as well. Firefighters basically tell me out here this looked like something out of the 9/11, like one of the buildings literally looked like the World Trade Center.
Well, if you can imagine, they have a large construction site that they have active fire, which is exactly like you said, a blowtorch. But behind them, they have the radiant heat that's affecting the buildings behind them and surrounding them. So they had shards of glass that were coming down, falling from the sky. So the firefighters, not only did they have to battle the fire, but they had to be concerned about the area they were fighting the fire in, because there was glass cascading down on them.
Luckily, we're told nobody was hurt. As for the building 313 Figueroa, we're told that firefighters were able to battle the conditions over there in time, and just some papers and some other things in the window did start burning, but nothing much else over there. They say the 7-story apartment complex, though, to give you some perspective, that burned is 1.3 million square feet. They say it basically fills an entire square block. Back out live, you can see all the fire engines again behind me here. They're still trying to contain this fire, and they also say that they are hoping to open both the 110 and the 101 freeway by 5 o'clock this morning. The 110 was closed in both directions. The 101 was closed in the northbound direction because firefighters had to use the freeways to access the areas down here. The streets mostly affected are Hope, Figueroa, Temple, and Adams. Right now, traffic is a mess getting anywhere down here, but they are again trying to hopefully open the 101 and the 110 at 5 o'clock this morning. In the meantime, as for the cause of this blaze, they say it would take some time to be able to figure out the exact cause. Arson is definitely here on the scene, which is customary in a blaze like this. And just to let you know as well, they say there's another fire also on West 7th Street, a building that is also under construction, but they stress there is no reason to believe right now that that is connected to this blaze. It could be just one big coincidence that another building not far from here on West 7th, also under construction, is on a blaze as well. Reporting live here in downtown Los Angeles, sending it back to you in the studio.
Ginger, thank you. We're following breaking news from Ventura County. One neighborhood has a lot of cleaning up to do after a powerful mudslide damaged homes. The hillside above gave way, pushing tons of rocks and mud at high speed. Homeowners were trapped. KTLA's Eric Spillman is in Camarillo Springs, where it seems the damage is extensive. Eric, good morning.
It is absolutely. Good morning to you. We've climbed up to the top of the hill here behind San Como Lane in Camarillo Springs and show you an amazing vantage point here from up above. You see how many homes were damaged by this amazing amount of rock and debris that came tumbling down the hillside from above the burn area, above this street here around 2 o'clock this morning. It was raining extremely hard, very intense downpour. raining at the rate of 1.8 inches an hour, according to the National Weather Service. You see all these rocks and debris. There's tree stumps in there. There's branches, all kinds of material from the area that burned above here. In May of last year, it all came down at once, and it went to the roof level of these homes. I want to say at least, the latest information we have is at least 8 homes are damaged here. And you see how in some cases the pile of rock and debris is actually above the roof. You look over there, as far as you can see, these people's backyards are buried by rock and mud and debris that just came tumbling down all at once. Several homeowners here had to be rescued in the middle of the night. We want to show you some pictures of an elderly couple. They live in one of the homes here. They are not ambulatory. The man is in a wheelchair. The woman is blind. They live with a caretaker. In the middle of the night, firefighters knew that they were there. They stayed behind here. They did not evacuate. Firefighters went through the front door. They broke through using an axe, and they carried these people out to safety. The man and the woman were in their bedroom. The water had pressed them up against the side of a wall. They were wedged. They had been pushed off the bed by all the debris and pushed up against the side of a wall. And they were there when firefighters lifted them out, carried them to safety. They were not hurt. We spoke to the man after he was rescued.
It just came pouring in, and then we were in bed. So I told my wife to stay in bed, and I could just feel the mud, you know. I don't know, there must be about 3 or 4 feet of mud in there.
Absolutely scary situation. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Absolutely frightening situation. These pictures from our photographer, Mike Mcgregor, here in the middle of the night. All this stuff coming down at once. Immediately, authorities decided that this needed to be under a mandatory evacuation. They went door to door. They got people out of their homes and moved them to the clubhouse. This is a retirement community here. But some people decided, even after what happened here in the middle of the night, that they weren't going to leave. Listen to what this one woman had to say about the experience of being here all night long.
I heard a lot of noise, like rocks falling, and the rain woke me up. I looked out the window and I saw the street look like a river. And then the fireman knocked on my door and he said, "We would like you to leave. You're not forced to leave, but we would like you to." I told him I'd rather stay here than to get on that freeway in that stormy weather. He said, "We'll take care of you."
Back here live again, showing you this amazing vantage point from up above of all this material that flowed down from the hillside here. Nobody hurt here this morning, but you know, they tried so hard to divert this material, to come up with a system to prevent this from happening. They had these K-rails, these concrete barricades in place. Look what happened to them. They were pushed around like so many toys here by the force of the water and the mud and the rocks and the debris that just came flowing through here. And the size of some of this material that came down the hill is unbelievable. Check out this particular rock. I mean, this isn't even the biggest one. There's rocks the size of cars that came down off of that hillside in the middle of the night. We'll send it back to you.
What do you think it was here? I mean, you've been there before. Do you think that all the mud came down last time? No vegetation had a chance to regrow? I mean, why all the rocks this time?
Right. That's exactly the theory that a sheriff's deputy relayed to us just a little while ago. They did have a slide here on Halloween. It damaged one home. That was all mud and water. This time, the mud was washed away, but the rocks came tumbling down. They were loose. There was nothing to hold them into place. So much water came down at once and pushed all this material into the homes.
Oh, just amazing perspective. Also, thank you to Mike Mcgregor. Always an incredible job bringing us those exclusive pictures. Eric, thank you. Appreciate it.
We actually have one of our photographers on the ground. He's on the phone right now, Mike Mcgregor. He's got some information for us as well. Mike.
Good morning, Chris and Megan. It's a pretty tense situation out here. I'm just south of 1st Street on Gage. He is just north of me on Gage. He looks like he's been waving around a cell phone, and he has a gun, a handgun in the other hand. From what I've heard from witnesses, she has shot a woman in the front house. She has came out, and she's been transported. And then I heard that he wanted to go to the back house and open the doors and get in there, but I guess they're locked. There's 2 children in that house. I heard they're safe as of right now. The situation's still ongoing. they're trying to talk him out from the area where he's at right now. We're just kind of waiting to see what's happening.
And Mike, what about evacuations in that neighborhood? Are they trying to get people out of there, or are they just telling them to shelter in place and stay put?
From what I hear is anyone in the area should leave the area. This man is dangerous with a gun, and we're waiting for this to unfold right now.
And Mike, how long have you actually been watching this scene unfold?
I've been here for a little over 20 minutes.
So it's still a relatively fresh situation, and as we can see right here, we've got a really good view of this man, but I'm guessing you're far away from any sort of danger whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm pretty far away. I'm behind a lot of cop cars, and I'm in a good location.
My name is Michael Mariscal. The whole park is very historical. It's the beginning of the roots of Los Angeles. The plaza area was the first gathering place of the city of Los Angeles. Here at Olvera Street, the merchants are the ones that put on the events. It's a very unique little shopping area. Olvera Street was revitalized and opened as a Mexican marketplace in 1930. Come on down and see a little bit of old Mexico. You've never seen it all as long as you work on Olvera Street. Not only do I live it and love it, I appreciate it. And I appreciate anybody who comes to Olvera Street.
Cleanup effort is underway here in the city of Sendai, and there is much cleanup to do. Take a look at this right here. This is the Wakabayashi ward of Sendai, where tsunami waters piled up debris. This is where cars and homes and lives were upturned by the force of the tsunami. The ruins here and for miles beyond, a surreal scene of destruction that seems to go on forever. Amid the ruins, signs of the life being lived in this community until the churning waters push through. When you get up close to this pile of debris here in the Wakabayashi ward, you see exactly how high it is. I'm 6 feet tall. It stands much taller than I am. And as you walk along and look at the individual items, one can't help but think, as you see an SUV like this one, whether someone was inside that SUV when the tsunami hit. The men working to clear out the debris don't know the answer. I asked this man if anyone could possibly be alive under all that debris, and he said it wasn't likely, but he does believe there are bodies buried underneath it. Indeed, just a few minutes later and a couple of miles away, we were with Japanese Self-Defense Force soldiers when they found the body of an unidentified woman. They found at least 2 other bodies in this neighborhood alone. The grim task of finding the missing, one that may go on for weeks given the amount of area to be searched, a mountain of pain ahead of a community already suffering.
Now at 10, a KTLA5 exclusive involving the dramatic end to a police pursuit.
Yeah, the armed suspect shouted directly into our cameras just moments before he was shot by officers. Sarah Welch, live in El Monte tonight. She's got that story. Sarah.
Well, hi, Rick. This is where that lengthy chase came to an end, and it's also where KTLA cameraman Mike Mcgregor captured the dramatic ending and also spoke to the suspect moments before the gunfire.
It's all good.
Promise me on camera. Protective custody.
The car chase suspect shouts back at the swarm of police tracking his vehicle as a KTLA photographer shooting the pursuit urges the driver to give up.
Your life is worth it. You got to get out. You got to get out, dude. Hey, you'll be okay. Don't worry. You'll be okay.
The man suspected of domestic violence and believed to be suicidal refused to pull over and led police on a 2-hour slow-speed pursuit that began just after 1:30 in the morning in South L.A. after the man's girlfriend on Firth Boulevard called for help. The man sped off when police tried to pull him over during a traffic stop. The man is repeatedly told to pull over but continues to drive through El Monte, even with blown out tires and the engine smoking, as witnesses with cameras watched it all unfold.
So what I saw was this individual, he looked pretty scared. It didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He was going up and down the streets, going back to the same spots.
CHP says during the chase, the suspect called him and said he had a gun. Mountain View Road and Valley Boulevard, officers finally disabled his minivan with spike strips, and the chase came to a violent end.
Hey, watch out, watch out, watch out!
The man then steps out of his car with a blanket over his head and a gun in hand. Police first shoot him with non-lethal rounds, but when the man points his gun, they open fire. The suspect was critically injured. And we purposely froze that video because it is difficult to watch. No officers were injured or bystanders in that shooting. The suspect remains in critical condition tonight at a local hospital. Back to you.
All right, Sarah Welch, we thank you for that. Elsewhere, a gruesome discovery in Inglewood. A blind elderly man